Hey, it's Rone. I'm so excited to have you join us here for the Aroma Vibe. We are talking about seasons eating tonight. We're going to talk about some really fun seasonal recipes and digestive health. As always, you need to know that we are not uh, doctors. We cannot diagnose or treat. We're educators here sharing information. We're going to show you where you can find some amazing information and just share the wealth because that's what we do. If you were here before we started the recording, you know how fun our class is. And after the recording stops, that's when we get to answer lots of questions. So if you're watching the recording, next time try to join us live because that's where the real fun is.
Awesome. I am Leanne Mason, and I am excited to teach about some of the foods and some of the ways that we can still enjoy the season without overindulging or affecting our digestive system too much. Everything happens in our gut, right? Our immune system is affected by our gut. Our hormone levels are affected by our gut. So even though we're in this season of celebration, we want to make sure that we are caring for our gut. And it all starts out with mindfulness. Like, have you ever considered your mindset going into the holidays, right? Um, I love the idea of it's okay to taste everything, just don't overdo everything. Take a small scoop if you want to have a little bit of everything so that you're getting a taste, right? Um, so that's one of my favorite things is consider what you want to create before you go to a party or to a meal. Like, Rone, what are some of the things you do going into a social event? Because I know for some people, a social event becomes mindless eating, right?
One of the tips and tricks that's really good when you're at a social event is to put your fork down. Like take a bite and put your fork down. A lot of times we're like mindful or
Mindless.
mindlessly just like and talking and chewing. But like take a bite, put your fork down, and I think you're supposed to chew like 25 times. And this is that mindfulness where you get to really enjoy the flavor of what's happening. Have some conversation in between bites. Just slow it down. Now, I grew up in a house where we were told he who eats the fastest gets the mostest. So we were always like eating very fast. For me, I have to remember to just slow down, let things settle. Drinking a glass of water before I get my food too, and just in general, slowing down. How about you?
That's perfect. Hydration is key, right? Drinking before and while. And um, again, being mindful of enjoying the food instead of just shoveling it in, right? So I know in the handout, and I will drop that in the link and below if you're watching the replay, um, is you start with balance, right? You want a balanced plate. And if you can start with your protein and your foods that have fiber, like your vegetables, right? Um, One of the nutritionalists that I follow says to start with your leafy greens. And then if you have starchy vegetables, those go after the protein, right? So your leafy greens, your fibrous greens like broccoli, cauliflower, which is not really green, but you know what I mean, like those vegetables that are low glycemic index, high fiber, high water, right? Those first. And then you go to your proteins. And then you go to um, your side dishes that are normally more of a carbohydrate, like your starchy vegetables. like your corn, your peas, your potatoes, those kind of things. And then moderate, choose a roll or the stuffing, not both, right? And if you're going to have a dessert, then consider a smaller portion. You can always go back, but start with a small sliver and savor every bite, right? And continue to hydrate throughout the meal. Some easy swaps to help with some of um, the calories and that is don't be drinking your calories. If you need flavor, one of the greatest swaps is use sparkling water or club soda and put a few drops of your favorite citrus oil in it. So you're getting a little bit of the bubble and the effervescence that people like and the flavor without calories. So that's a great swap. Another one is using yogurt based dips and Greek yogurt that has protein in it rather than the heavy cream dips or just straight sour cream. Getting, um, oh my gosh, my mind, plain Greek yogurt is the same as sour cream as far as flavor. You can swap 1 to 1, but it has protein in it, which helps balance the glycemic index. So those are some great ones. Instead of doing really heavy desserts, you can make infused chocolate. And this is one of my favorites. It's an easy swap. Um, you can make a light chocolate mousse with where you are using a little bit of cream, but you take and you melt dark chocolate, put a few drops of essential oils in, and then as you have, once you get your whipping cream whipped to a very stiff peak, and your chocolate is to more of a, it's still runny but not hot. And my brain is, I don't know why my brain just went zoop, like you're tempering the chocolate, right? Then you slowly drizzle that into your whipping cream, and you can make a light chocolate mousse that way that is a lot less sugar, a lot less calories than some of the heavy desserts. Um,
There's actually some really interesting things that you can do with boiled eggs and cocoa powder. Like it's surprising you can make a chocolate mousse that way or with cottage cheese as well. I'll have to look and see if I can find some of those recipes that we could drop in here because they're high protein and it's weird because you're like, boiled eggs, really? Like hard boiled eggs? But I've done it and it actually tastes like chocolate pudding.
Perfect. If you can get me those, I would love to drop those in the um, when we put this on YouTube as well. The other thing that you can do, and this is something we started a couple of years ago because some people want a taste of every dessert, right? Or every whatever. So we started, instead of making a pie crust, we took the pie dough and made it into triangles, like dipping triangles, or got ginger snap cookies or vanilla wafers. And then you make all the pie fillings without a crust on the bottom, and everybody can just take a spoonful of it and dip. So instead of full on pies, you're making pie dip. So that's another easy swap um, to change it up so that you can have a little taste of everything without feeling like you're wasting anything and without overindulging. So those are some great things. Now, we want to talk about what happens if you overindulge, right? I love the fact that essential oils can support that. My favorite is our digestive blends. We have Digest Zen, and for the younger ones, we have Tamer. And I don't think I put Tamer truthfully in the blog, but Tamer is a little bit gentler, and you just roll it on your stomach. And if you are backed up, you roll it clockwise, or even if you're just regular, right?
Nope.
And
Yep. Sorry.
okay. And then if you're going a little too fast, you rub counterclockwise to slow that puppy down, right? Um, Inhaling peppermint can help, but also taking peppermint internally. And I love that we have beadlets that are just a third of a drop of peppermint. You can pop that in your mouth and it just bursts. We also have super mint beadlets, super great. Um, Lemon in your water is super helpful in the digestive process, but also can brighten your mood. And oh, maybe this is a good time to talk about mood, right?
Well, wait, before we move into mood, I do want to mention that we have an amazing castor oil also, since we're talking about stomach upset. And you can take a drop of cardamom, a drop of digestion, a drop of ginger, and or supermint in your belly button with castor oil to help eliminate gas or other digestive upset. And that's a really good one. You guys, I love The Essential Life. This is from the new Essential Life book, and they have a whole section that is just on digestive care, um, digestive and intestinal. So that castor oil pack is in here, but I also really like that they have a gut support, which is a 10 ml roller with 2 drops grapefruit or tangerine, 2 drops ginger, 2 drops blue tansy, and 1 drop helichrysum, and top it off with a carrier oil of your choice. So it could either be the castor oil or fractionated coconut oil, and then roll that on your belly as well.
I love that. So, something I didn't even think about putting in the handout, but I do anytime I eat out because I never know what additives and things are in food, right? So my protocol when I go to a restaurant is to take 1 PB Restore and 4 Terrazyme. Now, Terrazyme helps because it's the digestive enzymes that our food is not rich in those digestive enzymes anymore
Yeah.
because they're not raised completely on the vine, right?
And your
And we
body
have
only
so many preservatives.
Yeah, your body only produces 10 of the 21 enzymes that you need to digest food properly. The rest we're supposed to get from our food, but our food is no longer enzyme rich. So what happens is your body takes your metabolic enzymes and turns them into digestive enzymes that don't work as well, and now your metabolism is messed up. So when you put the proper enzymes in, it's just really good.
Right. And so that's also what I do anytime we're going to a holiday meal because there are those memories that come with certain dishes, right? Our family, sweet potatoes or candied yams, whatever you call, some people call them sweet potatoes. They are yams. And it's pretty much a caramel sauce over the top of yams, truly is what it is, right? But it's a family tradition and I love that. But I also know that it's going to spike my blood sugars and it's going to make my tummy a little bit sore but I love it and I'll have a few tablespoons of it and I'm good. But so holiday meals, I do the same thing. A PB Restore or Terrazyme right before. There's also the MetaPower system is incredible for supporting our digestive health. The MetaPower Assist supports healthy glucose metabolism. And so taking that before your largest meal can help reduce that post meal glucose spike and helps you with the energy. And then the soft gel also continues to help with the digestive process and assists with maintaining healthy weight and curbing appetite. So taking a soft gel right before can support curbing that overindulging process.
Yeah.
So,
And you started to mention um, with these holiday meals, there's traditions, there's history. With that, there can also be that emotional component, which can lead to digestive upset because it might be like, oh, I remember having this and grandma used to make it and now grandma's no longer here. Or, oh my
Yep.
gosh, I remember when mom used to make me eat this and oh, and now it's here and just the smell of it is making me feel sick. Like there's there's all sorts of emotional baggage that can be attached to food. So there are essential oils that can help us through that. And this I know is one of Leanne's favorite things to talk about.
Exactly. I love talking about emotional well-being. If you have recently lost someone, or if holidays, for whatever reason, bring up grief, lime dispels apathy and grief. And one of my favorite things to do to support whatever emotions might come up from holidays is balance and lime together. Balance is grounding and helps
Mm.
kind of keep us grounded and solid, and lime uplifts. And so the two together help us stay balanced a little bit better. Um, so if you need a little bit extra support emotionally during the holidays, the other thing I love, and of course it's in the bottom of the stack, is the Essential Emotions book. And because the holidays can bring anxious feelings, it can bring despair, it can bring um, almost any emotion can show up, right? Like holidays are supposed to be this joyous time, but sometimes we have that one person that just makes it unbearable in one way or another, right? So, two of my favorite ways to just support mind, body, and spirit is Terra Shield and On Guard. And I just like to put it on the crown of my head and then also on my wrists. And I am a faith-based person, so I pray that that will guard and protect me. Terra Shield repels negative energy and unwanted creepy crawlies, right? And On Guard is our protection blend, protection emotionally as well as our immune system. And so, anytime you're going into a situation that you're not sure of, having On Guard and Terra Shield can put that protective, energetic, emotional, physical bubble around you. If you are not a faith based person, then ask the universe to create that shield and bubble for you. Um,
Another thing you can do is put a diffuser on and definitely put On Guard in your diffuser as you have different people coming into your home. I like On Guard and Tangerine together or On Guard and Citrus Bliss together. Like it just makes a really good homey holiday aroma,
yeah,
but it also protects from the creepy crawlies that people can bring into your home as they are sniffing and sneezing and doing different things that you're like, you could have stayed home. But
yeah, exactly.
this can
So
help prevent
some
spreading.
there you go. From spreading the
Holiday
holiday
crud.
um, crud. I love that because how many of us end up sick because we are around so many people and you just don't know what everybody else has been exposed to.
I'm also
So,
going to suggest that your immune systems are down because we're eating things that we're not necessarily used to, especially with a high sugar content, which lowers our immune system. So think about that before you have that third or fourth or fifth serving of
yes,
something sugary.
right. So, before we go into the recipes, I want to go over a few things that can help you thrive through the holidays, and that is maintaining a good routine prior and post, right? That means that you are still watching your what you do every morning and night. Like sometimes when we get the holidays, we get a few days off. So what do? We take it off, which is also not supportive of our immune system. So making sure every morning you do a reset, which is you are finding whether that be starting your day with spirituality and meditation or starting your day with movement continue to do whatever the routine is that you do as much as possible. Don't take the whole day off and just lounge around and prepare food. Because that used to be what we did was just all routine stops, and it's all about food preparation and eating during food preparation. And then you eat a big meal, and then everyone's exhausted, and we lay around until we decide to then eat dessert. I don't know about you. That was our
Have you been to
growing
my
up,
house that like do you have a little camera in my house? Because that's kind of what happens.
right? So, one of the things, if you don't have a morning routine, is one of the easiest ways is just to get a glass of warm or room temperature water with a drop of lemon in it every morning. Just start that as your morning routine. Something simple that then starts your body going in a gentle way. Rolling balance on the bottom of your feet and the back of your neck can support grounding and emotional balance, right?
The other thing is make sure you are getting enough sleep because that's the other thing that goes out the window is, oh, well, I'm just going to stay up late because I don't have to get up early in the morning. But for me, if I stay up late, it doesn't matter how late I stay up, I still get up early in the morning. I
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't sleep in.
Exactly. So, did you know that movement 5 to 10 minutes after eating a meal actually supports your digestive system and helps that energetic flow? And too often in the US, we sit around after a meal when we really should be up and moving for 5 to 10 minutes. If you are in a situation where you can't get up and move, it is just as effective to do leg swings for 5 or 10 minutes under the table. How many people are really going to know what's happening? Yeah. Or calf raises under the table. Get a part of your body moving instead of just sitting still. Start that prior to the big meal so it becomes a habit, right? Getting intentional rest. Rone kind of talked on this already, right? Get your rest in. Using adaptive or Shinrin Roku in your diffusers at night can help promote restful sleep. And even if you are getting shorter hours of sleep, you will have a deeper, more restful sleep. Then putting your favorite calming oils on your hands or in a diffuser, and those deep breathing exercises daily are super important for our overall health and well being. And then I'm just going to pound a little bit more on the movement, you guys. We are becoming more and more sedentary, and our bodies are feeling it. During the holidays, we're running and burning the candle at both ends. And so what suffers is our actual care of our bodies. So here's some things you guys can think about and just add them in 2 or 3 times a day rather than trying to get a big old workout in, right? Walk outside for 10 to 15 minutes. And I know that it's getting colder. Your body's, the cold air is good for our respiratory system. And walking can help with digestion and blood circulation and blood sugar regulation. If you can't get outside, then walk around your house for 5 to 10 minutes, right? Doing twisting and stretching movements or just moving your feet. The twisting actually helps our internal organs. So I'm in a chair, right? I can just sit and twist while I'm doing my schoolwork. And that supports, I know it sounds really funny, but it works well while you're working at your desk. How many of us sit at a desk all day? And if we just twisted a little bit while we were playing or working, uh, then it can support our bodies because we're moving. Put some music on while you're prepping or cleaning. Dance. Dancing is one of my favorite ways to move, right? And then slow, intentional mindfulness with breathing and swaying can help keep energy flowing and reduce tension in our body. So I love that. If you need help with that, put on some Motivate, which is from our emotional support kit. And we love Deep Blue for those for supporting if we have those little aches and pains, right?
Yeah.
So now we get to the fun part, right? The recipes. You guys, there are so many
One
recipes.
quick thing before we jump into the recipes. If you could only have one item for digestive health, I'm gonna tell you, you really should have Digest Zen. This this one blend can take care of a lot of different digestive upset. So I just want to push. We talked about a lot of different oils, and my suggestion is have them all. But if you could only have one for digestive upset, it would be this digestion. All right,
That's
sorry.
awesome. Okay, now I am going to share my screen so you guys can see some of the yummy goodness that is in the blog, and we can go from there. So doTERRA has, oh, maybe, let me try
Oh,
that again.
make sure you drop the link in the chat here too.
Yes. Okay, so this is a longer blog than I normally write for class because I wanted to make sure everything was where you could find it easily. So, um, On Guard pumpkin smoothies. If you are a pumpkin person like I am, adding the On Guard protective blend into your pumpkin smoothie adds a little bit of that fall flavor, but also then boosts your immune system. So you can click on that recipe right there. It's on the doTERRA website. Cinnamon apple chips. Rone, I know you make these. So putting cinnamon essential oils in with a little bit of lemon juice. I'm not even sure what their recipe does because Rone, I know you do your own thing.
Yes, so with a dehydrator, it's great. When you cut up your apples, you'll want to soak them with a little bit of essential oil. It's not really soaking. So it's a little bit of essential oils and a little bit of sugar, mix it together and kind of mix them up and let them sit and then put them in the dehydrator.
Perfect. Very cool. Mike, I know you do this. I have not done it in a long time.
Um,
Um,
Delicious.
Glazed, sweet and spicy and sweet potatoes. So here's the recipe. This is straight from doTERRA's website. So this is probably a way healthier version of the ones that we do. It uses honey and then it uses allspice and then cinnamon bark essential oil, ginger essential oil. I'm going to tell you guys, looking at this recipe, if you have not cooked with essential oils before, I would cut this in half. I would do 4 drops, 1.5, just because if you haven't used it before, it can get a little bit much. So there's that recipe straight from doTERRA. Roasted butternut squash soup is also from doTERRA's website. And here it's just giving you the essential oils. These are a toothpick swirl. So you're going to put the toothpick in the orifice of the essential oil. And I forgot to grab a toothpick. But in that, you're going to dip it in there and then you're going to swirl it in. Okay, then we go down. These ones are fantastic. Now, because you are baking it, you're heating it up, this recipe is actually accurate. I would use cinnamon over cassia, just so you know. Cassia has similar properties. I love cinnamon better. So these are mini pumpkin pies. So peppermint chocolates. These were submitted by another doTERRA wellness advocate. So there's how you can make some peppermint chocolates. Um, cinnamon apple spice cake. Great
Yum.
option. This is one of my favorites to do every year. And you can put it on bowls and have around as little appetizers. It also makes great gifts. and that kind of stuff. This is the sweet and spicy popcorn. This is a little bit different. doTERRA has an on guard popcorn. This one has, you can leave the white chocolate off it if you want and just do all the other ingredients, but it's super great. It makes cute gifts. I have used rather than white chocolate, I have used the colored candy melts to make it Christmas themed. And then the ones that are at the bottom here that are just bolded, these actually go to my food blog. So spiced apple crisp, this is another great one. Um, Wild orange fruit dip, and I do it with On Guard apples. And what that is as you cut your apples, you put them in a bowl that has On Guard in with them so that your apples don't brown as quickly, and a little bit of you can do a little bit of lemon juice in there as well. And then you have a fruit dip. This wild orange fruit dip is good for any fruit. Like I love dipping any fruit in there. My chocolate pumpkin fudge, pumpkin butterscotch streusel muffins, star anise wild orange shortbread cookies. I'm kind of sad they haven't done star anise as a holiday thing for a little bit, but doTERRA at one point had star anise and I loved it. Easy cinnamon bark, chocolate orange cheese ball, gluten-free pumpkin cheesecake. So there's lots of recipes. The one that I wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit and point out, making your own compound butter with essential oils can be a really great way to use on your turkey. If you do roasted turkey, making a compound butter a few, at least 2 to 3 days before, really makes it flavorful. It's also kind of a fun gift to make and give to someone, is a compound butter that uses the essential oils. So just some food for thought there. Um, I love this for holidays is the Madagascar vanilla wild orange honey butter. So that's a fun recipe to use. Um, Rone, I know you guys don't do traditional um, Thanksgivings, but what is a traditional holiday food at your house?
Well, so our traditional holiday food is it's we do a Chinese turkey, egg rolls, cream cheese wontons, fried rice, lemongrass chicken. Like that's kind of our tradition. We do something called Popeye pancakes, which is I think other people call it a pannekuchen, where
Okay.
it's where you take like 8 eggs and a cup of milk, a cup of flour, and like 6 tablespoons butter. So you put the butter in and you get it hot and sizzly and you mix everything else up in the blender and pour it in the hot, buttery, sizzled
Which
and
is so funny because in England, that's what you do to make Yorkshire pudding.
oh, well, and with the flour and
Uh-huh.
it's not a pudding, it's an egg bake.
Yeah, that's what Yorkshire pudding is.
Oh,
It's not a pudding.
oh,
And in England, pudding is your dessert, but it's not. This is Yorkshire pudding is a bread and they cook them in muffin tins and they're hollow in the middle.
yeah, it because it rises up and
Yeah,
then
so other
you
people
take it
call
out
them
and it
German
falls.
pancakes,
Yeah. And
popover pancakes.
so it's always been called Popeye pancakes at our house, and then of course my dad was Poppy, so then they became Poppy pancakes, and so we make that. That's like a traditional either for birthday breakfast or for a Christmas morning, or it was one of those fun things that I still do. The kids kind of expect that for a holiday breakfast or brunch. And then we'll do a good ham around Christmas time. So we do some traditional, but my husband didn't have good memories for traditional holiday food. And so when you're talking about like the traditional holiday things, he doesn't associate with good things. And so we created different holiday traditions that my kids really like. My daughter just this week, she was like, okay, Thanksgiving's coming up. Are we ready? What else do we need? Like she just got so excited. And I was like, oh, I was thinking maybe we wouldn't do that this year. And she's like, I said, I'm just kidding.
I love that. So some of the traditions we have, and again, if you go to my blog, you can go in and see some of these additional recipes that I didn't include because they're pretty much our family tradition, right? Joseph grew up in Canada and they have butter tarts there. So we make butter tarts either at Christmas or Thanksgiving. Nanaima bars, because again, a Canada thing, are either Canadian Thanksgiving or Christmas. My kids look forward to making traditional candies together. And it is really interesting because somebody says, how do you do that and balance it? Well, because we make them to give as gifts, and we have a piece of each thing we make. We don't overindulge. It's more about the tradition of making it and then giving it, right? For us.
Now, Dana just popped open. I'm pretty sure. So Dana's my sister. I think she's probably going to talk about buttermilk pie. Is or so that was one of the things that we grew up with was buttermilk pie, which is essentially kind of like a pecan pie, except for it's made with almonds.
It tastes better.
Yeah.
My son prefers a buttermilk pie over a birthday cake.
Oh, interesting. And I had never even heard of that before.
You know, it's
It's,
so funny. I just found the recipe as I was going through some stuff.
oh,
And
would you send it to me? Because I lost it.
yeah.
That's awesome. I love those traditions. I love, whatever the tradition is the goal is the good memories of it, right? Because unfortunately, there are those traditions that don't have good memories, but you continue to do them because it's tradition,
Well,
And I'm like,
I,
if nobody enjoys it, why do we keep doing it? So we discuss that as our family. And sometimes that's the piece of celebrating without compromising, right?
mm,
A compromise doesn't have to be compromising getting together and doing something that was tradition that everybody really doesn't like sometimes having conversations about, hey, why do we continue to do this when we end up fighting every time? Or why do we do this if everyone seems to be not enjoying it? Right? So when it comes to having these traditions, they're supposed to bring joy and that kind of stuff. So when we talk about holistic, because that's what we're about is holistic, right? Is how can we support you holistically, mind, body, spirit, relationally, emotionally, and all of that. And so this class is kind of like a whole lot of information about holistic things as well as enjoying. So we hope you got something great out of this class and that if you're not sure, reach out because there's lots of different things we love to support. So Rone, any last thoughts before we end the recording and do Q&A?
Um, just that when it comes to your digestive health, make sure that you are paying attention to your body and look for those signals before they become discomfort. A lot of times I've ignored that. In fact, to the point where I've trained my body that we don't have that signal. And so I'm now in the process of training my body, smaller portions, eating more often, so that I can feel when I'm full. Because so often when you're eating really, really fast, you're not going to feel when you're full. So pay attention to your body. And thank you for being here. We're so excited that you watched this. Next time, come live because now is when the fun begins. We're going to turn the recording off and have Q&A.
I love that. So I'm going to throw in one more thing that my son's doctor reminds us, eat till you're satisfied, not till you're full. Because if you eat till you're satisfied, give it 15, 20 minutes, you're actually going to feel full. If you eat till full, you're going to feel miserable in that 10 to 15 minutes. So
Yeah, agreed.
happy eating.